Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome to Bust a Recap. How you doing today? And I am here with my good. Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome to. I swear, sometimes. Yep. So, how you guys doing today? I'm Silver Gray, the Cinematic Sorcerer, and it looks like I am having a little bit of a time. Yeah, it looks like I'm having a little bit of a time with my technical stuff. Isn't that fun? So, yeah, what I'm doing here is, I have to add a couple of things, and yeah, it is most definitely a thing that, well, how can I put this? Some of the stuff that I've got going today is just all messed up. So what I'm doing right now is I'm trying my best here to make the stuff work. But thank you guys for showing up. Yeah, I am so feeling like one of those guys. This is like college radio at this point. I'm stuck in this whole realm between dead air and Isn't that fun? Oh, you can talk, man.
Okay.
I don't have your video.
Oh, okay. So you're working on my video feed,
Yeah,
so I can
video.
talk. I did
There
stuff this
we go.
weekend. Oh,
Well, hang on. Here we go. And that's better. So, once again, I am Solar Gray, the Cinematic Sorcerer. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do something that I normally don't do, and that is we're gonna start over.
okay.
So, that is what's gonna happen.
This sneak preview brought to you by the letter Q.
Letter.
Letter. Did I say letter?
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. All right. So yeah, and we're starting over. Yeah, there we go. And let's try this again. In 3, 2, cut that. Make sure. Okay. Yep. Good. And. Hey everybody, how's it going? This is Solar Gray, the Cinematic Sorcerer, and welcome to Bust a Recap. I am here today with my good old friend, with my really good friend here.
Hi, Licensed Hench. How you doing, everybody?
Yeah, so, how can I put this? Yeah, we had some technical stuff happening today, and, so, I'm back, I'm bad, I'm black, he's mad. Oh no, wait, no, I'm black and I'm mad. So, welcome to Bust a Recap, the show where we talk about the stuff that we go through during the week and some of the TV that we watched. I'm trying to get a little more creative with the copy, if you will. And, yeah, but today we're going to be talking about being stranded on a hunk of rubble, the plot points of Poop Fuel. I know the henchman's been waiting for
Not
to talk about this for a while.
poop fuel.
No, Poop Fuel. It's fuel made from poop. That's what we got going, and there we go. And of course, I have to apologize because in last week's episode, I forgot to mention that last week's episode of Luke Cage ended on what we call in Capoeira malicia, also known as unfair freaking trickery. And yeah, it really was. It ended on unfair trickery and Luke Cage getting the crap kicked out of him and knocked off a bridge. So, but yeah, we were talking about so many other things.
Yeah, there was a lot going on that episode.
And this episode is no different. This is like unpacking. Although this is the next to last week of Lost in Space.
Yeah.
Next to last
Stuff
week,
is heating up.
Yeah, I got although I did end up finding another show that is right up your alley.
Really?
I'm going to recommend for you so that we can start talking about that next week.
Nice.
Okay, but we'll get to that a little bit later. To start off, I want to thank you.
Yes.
I did that right. I got the timing right. I want to thank you for showing up this week.
Oh, of course.
I want to thank you guys for showing up this week. And most importantly, I got to talk to, of course, the people who honestly keep this thing going, because we've got some really, really, really dedicated watchers. And I want to give them their shout out. I want to say hello to the folks in the chat. Right now we've got Colleen Tully. Hi. Hi.
Hi.
So yeah. But as we always end up talking about the stuff that we always end up talking about, let me make sure I can do this properly here. Trying to get the color level set. There we go.
You're gonna put me in like a dramatic sepia tone.
No.
No.
We don't have the equipment for that. But we're close. We're very, very close to getting the equipment for that. So for those of you guys that are watching out there and want to help us do all that stuff, right down there in the description is the link to our GoFundMe page.
Down there?
To help us, to help us get better equipment. And we're very, very close with work I've been doing, donations that have been coming in outside of the GoFundMe, which is kind of awesome. So yeah, but how was your week? Because I haven't really talked to you since Monday.
Oh, pretty good. I've been real busy. First of all, I spent most of the week hiding in my bedroom with the AC on and computer and TV because it was too hot. And
hot.
Yeah, it was too hot. But I started getting into costuming. I'm looking at putting together a Ghostbuster costume, and I've been kind of talking obsessively about it with my friends. And oh, you're doing a costume for Halloween? No. Why would it be for Halloween? But a lot of my friends who do costumes get it. It's a jumpsuit you put on and a backpack and you're done. You can get dressed in the costume in less than a minute. You can get out of the costume in about the same amount of time. So it's like, hey, we're going to go to a convention, or we're going to go out to the store, or we're going to go see, whatever. You can throw on the Ghostbuster costume and suddenly, you're a character everyone recognizes.
Okay. All right.
And so they're having a lot of fun with that. And then I have recently backslid and returned to my earlier addiction, which is World of Warcraft. As we are recording this, there's a new expansion for World of Warcraft, and every time when a new expansion for World of Warcraft comes out, you get sucked back in.
Well,
but
I'm hoping I don't lose you. Every time there's a video game trend, I end up losing customers, clients, friends.
I am the most despised WoW player ever. I'm a casual player. And yeah,
you bastard.
Yeah, so I was never I got to be home at 6 o'clock because I got a 60-man raid going on. I was like, raiding? I went to one of those once. Yeah. They got tired of me standing in the blue shit and kicked me out.
Standing in the blue? That must be a WoW joke.
Yeah, it's a WoW joke. Yeah, but until one time they took me to another raid where I didn't stand in the blue shit, and apparently you're supposed to. So you'll know. Yeah. So, but yeah, we went back and it was a lot of fun, and it was kind of interesting because I played with Get a Fenris and Rat Girl and Clockwork Weasel, and we kind of all of us have been away from the game for several years, and so we started new characters because we have no idea how to play because it's completely changed. And but we're all very cognizant. Everyone said the same thing. We really enjoyed it. We had a lot of fun, but the part we had fun with wasn't the game itself. It was just casually hanging out with our friends, joking, BSing, and riffing off of the quest text and just being goofs. So I think part of that is that in our circle of friends we haven't had a social game, usually a LARP for us, going on for almost 2 years now.
I could see that.
So I think all of us are kind of missing that kind of social interaction where we get to improv and just be silly.
Well, I'm just saying, if you need an excuse to get together, I think I want to go see my friends is excuse enough, but I'm from a different culture. I don't understand a lot of pretense or conversational communication. You know what I mean?
Well, a lot of the people, like, I know part of the reason why I really got into, was really excited about LARP, is LARP role play games give you social interaction with the rules.
Okay.
So if you're kind of a wallflower type, or you have a lot of anxiety, where you're like, well, I don't know what to do in this situation. There's a party and there's no one here and I don't know them. But if it's a game, it's okay, because you don't even have to be you. Oh, look, I'm Leonard Apothecary, noble of the fairy realm. and I have 5 things I need to do, and you have an excuse to go talk to people, and it's okay that you don't know them and they don't know you, because your whole job is to find out who they are and what's going on. And it gives you a level of comfort so you can interact. And then, I like the improv thing. I don't know, a lot of our Ren Fair crowd kind of gets that with riffing with each other and just, coming up with funny banter and those moments where everything just kind of clicks. So it gets, usually you start because of the comfort of the social interaction. Later on, you return because you find you enjoy the kind of the improv and the socialization without having to worry about small talk.
Okay.
Plus, right. I get to be someone a hell of a lot more interesting than I am.
Now see, that's just your self-esteem fucking with you. Like seriously. I hear. Sorry, I'm checking. It looks like my audio is way low. Yeah. Matter of fact, what I'm gonna do here is blur, and then blur, and oh, that's why.
Better?
Okay, that looks. Yeah. You tell me.
Okay.
Okay, there we are.
Good.
See, that,
all right.
That was. Yeah, that was the audio thing. Of course, I'm always trying to keep up. Trying to improve.
What you people can't see off camera is, I'm not joking. There's about 80 knobs on the board, and about 6 different places that have to be adjusted to get the sound to balance right. So if any one of them is off, things get a little wonky.
Yeah, and the real downside about this is that I can't put in an earpiece receiver, or else you guys will see it and I look unprofessional. So it's like, do I look unprofessional? Do I sound unprofessional? So many thanks once again to the chat for helping me. Let's just not obsess over you guys like telling me, oh no, it's wrong. No. We're working on it. Well, no, honestly, man, that's it. Sounds like you had a pretty good weekend.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a lot of fun, and I did the pre-release launch quest Horde side. Mm-hmm. I'm sure if you have this thing called the internet, you've heard about it because it's all over every place. And all I gotta say, that is some messed up storyline. I mean, it's like really messed up.
Okay. And
there's only one point in the storyline where they give you as a character an opportunity to not participate in the war crimes. And I was interesting because afterwards I realized that I should have. I wonder if anything changes if you pick the option to basically be a objector and not participate in a war crime. Yeah. I don't think so, but I found it interesting that there's only one spot where they give that option. The rest of the time, you have no choice.
Yeah. Well, let's see here. Had a couple of really good shows. Mm-hmm. Fluff Talk went really well this week.
Awesome.
You should really check it out. The Viking was on a tear. Oh my God. And you know how he's very, very, very subtle, very subdued, very passive, very quiet? You piss him off, and he just puts out slews of comedic and hateful banter.
I've heard him go on a tear before. It is a sight to see.
Yeah, my cuckolds were warm and tingly. I met up with a couple of the Anomaly players and flushed out some character stuff. And of course, the significant other, my little hobbit, ended up going on a shopping spree and getting a bunch of new hero clicks.
Oh, nice.
So I think we're gonna unbox those and have some fun one-on-one time going, oh my God, this one came and this one came and this one came and woo, so that's hopefully the plan. All in all though, I am tired. I am so drained. I spent the first half of Saturday gathering spell components and what's the word I'm looking for? Casting a lingering frost spell for the studio so that I could stop cooking you guys.
Yeah, it's a nice cool degrees in here, and as long as I ignore the strange silvery flits in my peripheral vision, I'm fine.
Yeah, thank you. But every major spell, especially extended spells that one cast, it takes a lot. It
Yeah.
takes a lot out of them. And
No, I was pleasantly surprised when I came in today because it's actually kind of nice out today. It's hot, but it's not ungodly hot. And so I was like, okay, yeah, it's gonna be okay in the studio. And I came in, and I was like, wow, it's actually cool in here. I'm like, why are we hanging out in the living room?
because I wanted to surprise you.
Yeah, well, you did. I was pleasantly surprised.
That's all. I'm just going,
Yeah.
I was kind of cleaning
Yeah.
at the time.
Yeah.
Cleaning and putting on coffee and all that stuff because, what you guys don't quite know, and I know you guys are Disney fans out there, is every time a wizard or an apprentice casts a spell for cleaning, it always ends the same way. There is no magic way to clean your stuff, except for one, and that's a very I Dream of Jeannie thing, and what they never show was where all the garbage goes. So I could probably use Genie magic and cross my arms and do the head thing, and my place would end up being magically cleaned, which is cool, except for the rain of garbage and sawdust and whatever else is in that room, like raining down on some like elementary school in the Philippines that's being watched over by the Red Cross. That's the part they never tell you.
Yeah. Well, I could offer to help you clean with mad science, but that mostly involves just duct taping a butcher knife to a Roomba. No, you can't take away Mr. Stabby's knife.
See, and people think I'm crazy. Okay, I spend most of my time reining in the people that I work with. Jeez. Especially like, oh God, just now all I'm thinking about is a Roomba with a knife and the opening credits to Black Mirror happening over my life. So thank you very much. That is, yeah. Another thing that I've been contemplating, and I've gotten a couple of votes. I'm thinking about putting out a thing on Twitter, but I don't know how to get more followers right now. About switching away from YouTube and onto Twitch.
Okay. I don't know much about Twitch except that it exists, but I haven't actually. All the stuff I've seen that's been on Twitch, I've watched on YouTube as archive stuff. So
yeah, the stuff that's got me wondering, okay, is for the past like 3 or 4 transmissions, the feed just kept stopping. Just kept stopping. It was like, yeah, we're talking, and then boom, drop broadcast.
Was that here?
Yes, that was here. And I'm like, it happened. So I've got like these 8-minute clips and these 40-minute clips and all that stuff, instead of a nice, clean 90-ish minute clip that
Because I know from a cultural aspect that what Twitch is very much game and game playthrough.
Well, that's what we know.
Yeah,
that's what we know. And I don't know. I'm thinking about it. Maybe you guys out there have some word. So, it's question. Considering this spell I've been casting for the past couple of months is about to I guess you can say bloom, as it were. And with that being said, though, since that's about to bloom, I'm going to have some decisions I got to make about, where do we spend the next infusion? Where do we spend that responsibly?
Yeah.
And what will actually make things better for the people watching?
Yeah.
And make sure to keep a roof over our heads, because the Wizard Tower is not cheap. It is so not cheap. And we cannot do this from the Henchman's Lair. I promise. We can't do it. There's not enough space. So yeah, that's a lot is on the brain meats. Whole lot is on the brain meats right now. And but I did manage to sneak in just a little bit of watching television to make sure that we have material for this show.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So since that is the case, I'm questioning, what should we start with? Should we start in Lost in Space?
Or
do we start with
Luke Cage.
I think you're saying it incorrectly.
Yes, it's Luke Cage, the man you'll never.
The further adventures of the black man that I'll never look like.
Yeah.
Ever. All right, I'm not that dark. I'm not that handsome. I am that tall, but that's about it. And you know, even Meatloaf will tell you 1 out of 3 is pretty bad. So.
Hey, you talk about that, and then I'm like, well, yeah. Then I'm like, I look at the guy playing Commissioner Gordon. I'm like, that dude's just like almost 70, and he's ripped.
You mean
I'm like, seriously, yeah.
TK, yeah, that guy. Well, that's different because he has a job that pays him hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars to look like that. You have a job that pays you hundreds to thousands to make sure other people look like that.
Yeah.
You know, and I have a job that pays me tens, 5s to 10s to, I don't know, talk about the people who look like that. So.
I think in the last episode we actually decided that being paid your weight in $5 bills was actually fairly lucrative.
Actually, yeah.
So one of the deckers did the math, and it's like
$2,300.
Yeah.
And if that were the case, I'd be getting Cartman fat. I'll tell you that. I will pay you your weight in $5 bills per hour. Oh my God! There.
Give me my cheesy boots.
Exactly. You know.
That's a show I haven't watched in a while.
You know, I try and keep up with it as much as ComedyCentral.com will let me. And I wasn't happy with the last season because their writing actually suffered from the same thing the entire country suffered from. They had like this whole season-long story arc that hinged on Hillary winning the election. So when Trump won, they were like, "Oh crap! Write out something cool," you know.
Yeah.
But now, and the whole thing on that is Mr. Garrison is their stand-in for Trump, and he's got the spray tan and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And he promised people that he would essentially rape the world to death if he were elected, and they're just running with that.
Yeah.
Like every time
because wasn't his thing is he was going to fuck the Canadian Prime Minister to death.
Something like that.
Something
but
like
every
that.
time somebody says, "Hey, Mr. President, you shouldn't," he locks the door, and then they two of his advisors were like, "No, Mr. President, this," and he pushed the button, locked the door. They came out, and they had black eyes, sticky stains on their face, and they were giving a bunch of excuses like, "Yeah, I walked into a doorknob, and that's why there's semen on my face." I mean, that's where they're coming from now.
Wow.
And again, they weren't prepared.
Yeah. I remember reading an article that they said they were actually deciding to back off of a lot of the Trump commentary because they were like, yeah, that's all every episode is turning into.
Yeah.
So they were going to be pursuing other storylines and.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, that is hard to do.
Yeah.
You know, in all of these shows, and we do 3 to 6 a week, and I try so hard not to talk about the president, and I think I succeed. That's why we have TV.
That's why we have Netflix.
Yeah. So
Netflix fix everything.
No.
What was it that Homer Simpson said? Friend, television, friend, mother, secret lover.
That is terrible. Yeah, so you know what? I think I want to start with a quick synopsis of Lost in Space.
Okay, we're gonna. Okay.
Yeah, because this episode is called Resurrection, and essentially the last episode, if I recall, was them trying to get off planet after torturing their dad and the engineer. They got off planet, and the thing blew up, and now everybody thinks they're dead except for Will and maybe the wife.
Well,
and, yeah.
We don't know what the wife thinks because the wife is unconscious.
Oh, that's right, because good old Dr. Smith decided to go, yeah, you know, I'm totally helping. This won't do. And okay, no, I'm totally helping you out with the, okay, this seems heavy enough, and back of the head. And,
the best part is the look of the Urkel-esque look on her face of, did I do that?
Oh, jeez.
Which I loathed and hated on the first viewing. On the second viewing of this episode, again, I noticed stuff I missed before because I was too angry. And again, they actually did a pretty good job.
I get that. I actually do get that.
This is a show that did benefit from a second viewing.
Okay.
Especially this episode, because this episode is when, like, you know, like we're ramping up to the season finale, and they are really getting crazy.
Yeah. Now, in this particular episode,
which
Dad's ship blew up,
yep.
right? Mom is unconscious, and Will finds out that the rocks he's been collecting is essentially crystallized poop that they can probably use for fuel.
Yep. Which is the alternate title for this is "Shit Your Way to Freedom." But specifically, that's actually a very
poop, by the way, language.
Oh, sorry.
Yes, poop your way.
I'm sorry. Let me say, this episode is called "Bleep Your Way to Freedom." But it's the opening scene is he goes into his room and he has a complete meltdown because he now realizes that Dr. Smith has literally destroyed everything in his life. Dr. Smith conned him into killing the robot so then he could have to fix his relationship with his dad, which worked until Dr. Smith killed his dad and kidnapped his mom. So he has a meltdown and he smashes the robot statue that he made to commemorate the robot, and he smashes the rock that the robot gave him in the Robinson cave.
Aww.
And that's when he discovers, when it cracks open, it's not a rock. It's poop.
Poop.
And they immediately take it to the botanist, who's like, yes, it's highly compressed organic matter. I'm like, what does that mean? It's poop. I'm gonna wash my hands now. And they kind of have that quick moment where, you know, we can put it. Mom said we could put, you know, the bioreactors can make fuel. Yeah, but it will take a year for us to make enough fuel. He goes, yeah, but not with this stuff, and we got tons of it.
Right.
Literally, they have an entire cavern full of this stuff. And so they go,
which is really convenient since the planet is trying to kill them.
Yep.
To stop itching.
Yes. And again, this was one of my pet peeves, completely ignoring the bloody tar pits. But that's okay. They have a new source of fuel, because apparently in the future, oil is not a fuel source. Shit, it. Poop is.
Thank you.
Poop
yeah.
is.
Poop.
So they go off on that. Meanwhile, we cut back to Mom, who wakes up tied up in the chariot with Dr. Smith.
Brown chicken, brown cow.
Now, this is interesting because this is the first time Dr. Smith is in control. She's at the culmination of her plan. And this is the first time since the very beginning that you actually get to see her as herself. She's not one of her personas. She is the actual, I forget the original character name because we've gone through so many.
Right.
But she's her true self. And the actress, it's very subtle, but the actress does a pretty good job of letting that through. She's more vulnerable, she's more scared, and she's definitely more honest. And this is the first time she's ever been honest with the Robinsons.
Okay.
So the mom wakes up, she's like, first, careful, you may have a concussion. Mom's got some memory issues because she got hit in the head with a crowbar.
See, hang on, I'm sorry, but that whole first time that she's been honest, I'm really not a big fan of T squared L square, but sorry, too little, too late.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it's lies. Well, I was honest this one time. Great. Fantastic.
Well, but she's being honest because she is in the position of power now. She's the one in control. For the first time, she's in control of the situation. So,
just a minute.
Did we lose feed?
Okay, actually, it looks like we're fine. Looks
Okay.
like we're doing okay.
All right. So, and that's when mom's like, "What happened?" And again, it's subtle, but I get the impression that she's being genuine. She actually looks very sad, very remorseful, and she says, "There was an accident, and they didn't make it." And she's like, "Well, what happened?" And her reply was, "I needed you, but it turns out they needed you more." And Dr. Smith seems to be feeling genuine remorse at this action. She's not taking responsibility. She still calls it an accident and that she didn't do it. But that's her kind of her psychosis kicking in. And the thing I find interesting about it is looking back on the last 2 episodes, they did do a culmination of Dr. Smith is so obsessed with her plan and so obsessed with her need to get the robot to secure her safety that she's completely oblivious to the entire like emergency mission they are doing, and completely oblivious to everything going on, which means she is that hyper focused.
She is blind.
She's blind to all else. And in that moment when he comes forward, you kind of realize, oh, she really was. Because I remember she always seemed distracted and ignoring the exposition and the explanations. And how can you miss this endeavor that everyone's been working on for 40 hours? But yeah, we mentioned psychosis. So then she lays out her plan. She's got the robot. She's trying to make the robot work. It's not repairing itself. She's talking to the mom, and she's explaining that she needs the robot. Mom will help her get the robot working. She'll save her family. She swears she really means it. Mm-hmm. And that
I swear I mean it this time.
And that's when this episode starts doing lots of flashbacks. Each character has a flashback, and each flashback is a piece of the puzzle as to what the hell's going on. Like, we have Mom's flashback to, maybe it was Will.
Hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. Okay.
If she does not go back to the Resolute with the robot, they are going to send her back to Earth, and she's screwed.
Okay.
And this is really the first time she's expressed this out loud. And where she's actually said she doesn't fear, like, the captain killing her, which is implied with him being all scary and in her face. Mm-hmm. She has the very real fear. They'll just send her back to Earth, and that's the one place she doesn't want to be.
Okay.
Because much like the smuggler has been saying all along, Earth is a terrible place, and I'm going back there while you guys go off to your perfect little Eden.
Yeah.
Like, no one wants to be there. It's a death sentence. So, there's that. And we have another so there's some shenanigans and some back and forth, and Dr. Smith really comes clean with the mom. And the mom is being very empathetic, very aware, very in the moment, all the meanwhile trying to get Dr. Smith distracted long enough so she can escape.
Okay.
And she's even like playing Dr. Smith. Again, they do some like, well, what were you doing to make the robot wake up? And she specifically does nothing she ever actually did in the machine the first time, and even lies about where Will was. And they do some quick flashbacks and some nice camera tricks to remind the audience of what was really going on.
Right.
And
now, meanwhile, when this is happening, the dad and the engineer are literally floating on a piece of rubble.
No, that's next episode.
Huh?
They're not in this episode at all.
Oh, that's right.
Remember,
that's right.
They are dead.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
We know they're dead. They use the Challenger imagery to make us know for fact they're dead. The kid even says, were the flames red? If the flames were red, that means the temperature was low and Dad could have survived. And she's like, the flames weren't red. Like, everyone's been telling Will that their dad's dead. Vincent has an asshole adult moment where he tries to be helpful badly.
Now, Vincent is the leader's kid, right?
No, that's the leader.
Vincent is the leader?
I think Vincent's the leader. I don't know. If someone in chat knows, correct me. But he tells Will that having wishful thinking is important, but you need to be rational. Yes, he is berating a 9-year-old kid to man up and stop obsessing with trying to contact his dad via Morris and get on with the important task of harvesting poop.
Right?
I'm sorry, the kid just found the poop. Let him have his moment. Then he feels bad for being mean to the kid and tries to have a more rational, child-friendly conversation and just winds up insulting him again. Like, you need to pay attention to the people who are still alive. Like, I mean, it's just like, he tries, he just does a really bad job about it, and Will's like, yeah, whatever. And now they go harvesting the poop.
Damn you, child, for not having the emotional maturity of a middle-aged man.
Exactly.
Damn you.
So they go into the cavern, which the sister points out. So basically, you're saying we spent the night in an alien toilet. Yeah.
That was the redheaded daughter, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they go deeper into the cavern and they find some. They're like, there's not in the Robinson's cave. There's not enough poop, but they keep exploring the cavern system and they find a huge cavern filled with a metric ton of it, including some that's fresh.
Ooh, wait
Someone
a second.
literally steps in it, and they're like, and there are giant wolf bats hanging from the ceiling.
Oh, okay.
And everyone's like, and of course, the second they find the giant wolf bats hanging from the ceiling, that's when someone decides to yell, "Hey, should we bring it?" No one makes any noise, no one yells until the moment they find the giant wolf. But so they go in, they have there's good news, bad news, worse news.
Okay.
Good news is there's fuel. Bad news is you have to harvest it without making a sound. Well, why can't we make any sound? Well, there's worse news.
Yeah.
Cut away so we don't have to go through all that exposition again.
Okay.
But and they even make noise while harvesting, and they don't wake up the wolf bats. So then we cut back to Mom and Dr. Smith, and Mom actually manages to overpower Dr. Smith and throw her hard against the bulkhead wall.
Okay.
And she is about to throw down because Dr. Smith, they're pretty evenly matched. Dr. Smith has literally a pocket knife. That is her entire weapon.
Okay.
And the mom has been trying to be rational and reasoning, but at this point she is about to like bring the pain. And then she sees Dr. Smith's head stand up on end and completely stops and goes, "I've seen that before." That's because the mom has the epiphany. And now we have to cut back to another flashback to explain, well, why do we care about that? Which is, there's a room on the Resolute you're not allowed to go to. But if you touch the door, your hair stands on end. Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, and there's also another flashback where you find out what the mom did for the program. The mom designed the Resolute.
Okay.
So she's like the designer who designed the Resolute as a theoretical exercise, because it's physically impossible to make a spaceship go at the speeds that the Resolute was designed to withstand. And when she asks her boss about it, he goes, "Oh no, we're turning it over to in production like right away." She's like, "But it's just theoretical. There's no engine that can do that." And he doesn't answer. And then she goes,
and he's like, "No, of course not."
Yeah,
No.
well, no, he literally says nothing. And then she goes, "Well, my team would really benefit from. Do you have a meeting at 3:00? I'll see you there." It was like, wow, talk about being shut down.
Yeah.
So now we know that the meteor is impossible, the ship is impossible, and now Mom is so gobsmacked by Dr. Smith's hairdo that she completely forgets about beating her senseless.
All right.
And then things get a little interesting because we've ignored.
Now things get interesting.
Now things get interesting because we have ignored a very important character the entire episode, which is
I'm guessing the robot. No, not the robot.
The planet.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because mostly the planet in the form of the giant wolf bats, which, by the way, I would point out, it'd really be nice to have a gun right now. Oh, wait, they have one. What happened to it? Or, some extra bullets. I'm just saying, like, it occurs to no one to go, well, it'll take all night to print a gun, but I could make a couple of more bullets, maybe? Just saying. But there's the wolf bats just nothing. They make noise. The wolf bats don't care. So then they do that trope that always drives me nuts, usually in medical shows. Critical thing going on. In this case, harvesting bat poop without making any noise. So obviously what you do is have a conversation with your sister directly underneath the bats while mindlessly putting rocks into your bag.
Well, how else are we going to get the mandatory action scene?
I know. They needed it. It's like,
I mean, it's not like they're going to be more clever writing or anything like that.
Yeah.
Like someone isn't going to trip and fall in the dark and spill their rock-laden basket out and make all that noise there.
Oh.
No. It's got to be teenagers talking.
They do that at one point. Everyone stops. Doesn't wake up the bats. Bats don't care when they drop a crowbar on the ground and make a loud clank. Bats don't care if you raise your voice. Bats don't care if you drop your rocks. This is important, kids. So then they have this conversation, and the older sister keeps trying to tell Will to give up on Dad, like, you need to move on. And Will has this big moving speech about how Dad would never give up on us.
We have to try,
and that
we have to care.
If and then he outlines all the impossible things that have happened so far, and he goes, the impossible happens all the time. You just have to believe in it. Which the sister's like, you know what? You're right. Like,
okay, hang on. On one hand, I get we've traveled faster than light. My best friend is a robot. We're sitting under alien giant bats trying to collect their poop, and the impossible happens all the time. Seriously. But the way you're presenting it, it sounds like Will was pretty much saying, clap if you believe in fairies.
That's exactly what he says. Because she goes, metaphorically looking up. I mean, she goes, you know what? You're right. She goes, thanks, Will, in a genuine way of saying, thank you for giving me hope and making me, believe. In other words, she metaphysically claps to believe. And the second she says that, his radio goes to life with the beep, 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 beep. And everyone's like, shut it up, shut up. And he shuts it off. And he's like, but I wasn't transmitting. It was receiving. And he looks at his sister and he says the two words, piss off the fucking bats. Sorry. Piss off the bats. Dad's alive. And the planet goes,
oh, seriously?
What?
Oh, no,
what?
We can't.
Oh, no, we can't have that. So everything, it's not until Will says, Dad's alive, the bats wake up, flip out, and attack everybody. And everybody's running, and people are being dragged off by the bats, and everything's crazy. And I'm just like, on the second viewing, I'm like, that really was like, what? Oh no, I thought we got rid of that guy. So, I swear to you, the writers did that on purpose.
Yeah, I gotta say, that sounds pretty hilarious.
It's actually, wait, the first time I didn't really catch it so much. The second time, I was actively amused by it. And then we cut back.
I dropped a crowbar.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Yeah. Beep, 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 beep. What was that? I don't know. It's just somebody trying to... Dad's alive. Mother... Hey, he's alive, guys. Hey.
Yep. So we cut back to the... So finally, Mom and Dr. Smith figure out how to open up the engine room, and they see the glow, much like...
25%. I'm going 30 frames a second. I don't know what their deal is.
Okay.
And it's starting with you doing this. And there you go.
Okay, we back?
Looks like we're back.
Alrighty. So, what was I saying? Oh, yeah. So then we cut back to the scene with Dr. Smith. And this is actually an important flashback because now we know why Dr. Smith has been super fixated on the robot. I mean, because it was always like, oh, look, there's this robot, and she has everything she's done is to try to get control of the robot.
Right.
And we don't know why she's hyper fixated on it. Like, why wouldn't she want to get control of the gun? It's the most powerful weapon on the planet. It beats shovel on a stick.
No, it is not the most powerful weapon on the planet, since there is a robot that can literally melt Arctic ice.
Yeah, but right now he's in IKEA state. He's in his IKEA form.
Oh, okay.
So it's not really doing her much.
She needs to find that little star wrench.
Yeah, she doesn't have the Fluflig wrench. But so then we cut back, and she, because the emergency system kicks in, because they declare a all evacuation order. Mm-hmm. Her cell unlocks. And she runs out, and we get that one piece of information that we haven't had, which is she's hiding because she's escaping from her prison cell, and she overhears two guys come out of that secret room and talk about, well, the robot's tearing us up. Of course it's coming for it, but we're dead if we give it back anyway, so do everything, protect the engine at all costs. So then we cut back to her.
So hang on, Dr. Smith finds out the secret that the Earth people who were trying to set up this utopia stole alien tech, and the robot is trying to go back and take the alien tech back?
No, we haven't got that. She knows that the robot is there to get the engine.
Okay.
And she knows she knows why the robot attacked the Resolute. And she knows that if the robot, if she can control the robot, if she can't control the robot, it might come after her again.
Okay.
So now she relates this to the mom, and the mom's like, then she's even there sitting there kind of musing, and she's like, but why would they, if they're so much more technically advanced to us, why would they want to steal our engine? And the mom's like, yeah, that doesn't make any sense unless they weren't stealing it. They were recovering it. We got it from them. And then Dr. Smith goes, well, that doesn't make any sense. Where we've gotten it from? If you'd gotten it from them, we would have had, what did we do? We shoot them down or steal their ship? I mean, you'd have to have some kind of cover-up. Some kind of massive cover-up on a massive scale. They stop. They look at each other. They have the same thought. The Christmas star!
Yeah.
Which we know about and are reminded of from all the other flashbacks. And
some
now,
sort of cover-up on a massive scale that would only be able to be held if all the people involved took all of their favorite people away from anyone that could figure it out and be mad about it. Oh my God, but that could never happen. We need to hurry up and get to that colony that we're building because I mean, it's so now the cat's out of the bag. We now know what's up. There is some fun and games with the Robinsons having to run and hide and fight the wolf bats. And we do actually have we also have a callback to Aliens, where the redheaded daughter is on her back and the wolf bat's like right in her face doing that alien thing. Yeah.
And then they distracted by throwing a rock because Jurassic Park.
Rocks are good.
Yep, but it might have been poop. I'm not sure.
It might have been a poop rock. But yeah.
But then Will has a surprisingly adult and empathic moment. The woman who shot up the Jupiter 2, the one that the Dr. Smith set up to kill the robot, or at least try to kill the robot, so Will would take the robot out. She's like they kind of make up, and she's like, well, I'm just sorry for what I did, and he goes, no, it's okay. Dr. Smith has a way of making you do things you don't want to do. And you're like, that's when you realize that Will knows, it has had the epiphany that everything he's done has been manipulated by Dr. Smith, and it was all a bad call.
Which I'm glad they waited until the second to last episode to have Will say that line, because had it been done any earlier, there would have been a lot of alludings to inappropriate touching.
Yeah. There was already a weird, creepy thing going on there. So, we pretty much wrap up on that point with them surviving the devil bats, or the wolf bats. And
I like devil bats. That's more metal.
Yeah, because the thing is that when you first see the attack, you think, oh my God, these people are dead. And then later on, it's like, no, they just kind of dragged people off and chewed on them. They're a pack of dogs. Like, if you had, I don't know, a shotgun, it would be a done deal. Or even, I don't know, a shovel on a stick, which is the one thing they didn't bring with them to the cave. Yeah. So, and that's kind of where we leave it.
Okay.
So we still haven't seen the engine. Oh, I'm sorry, that's not where we leave it. I'm burying the lead.
Thank you.
So during all this, Dr. Smith has had it. She's disgusted. Her plan isn't going to work. Mom's trying to convince her to let her fix the alien ship, and she's like, in her disgust, she throws the robot arm off to the side. It makes contact with the ship, and no one notices now that a piece of the robot is touching the ship. The robot's gone into self-repair mode. Meanwhile, Dr. Smith's like, oh, see something in the bushes. Oh, you aren't just buying time for your family to rescue you, are you? No, I wouldn't do that. You are such a good thing. Let's hope you're a better scientist than you are a liar. Ha-ha, I've got you. Oh, it's the chicken. How'd the chicken get out here? And this part I do love, because Penny, medical professional,
It's always the chicken.
Always the
isn't it?
chicken.
Always
Doesn't use
the
a
chicken.
crowbar. Doesn't. No, just knockout dart to the neck. Boom. Dr. Smith's down.
Okay.
Grabs mom. Grabs the chicken. I was very upset. She's not going to abandon the chicken, is she? No. That chicken's a family member. Grabs the chicken. Grabs mom. Gets in the thing. Gets the hell out of there. They're going to leave Dr. Smith and get off this planet pronto.
Good.
And at that point, I'm like, you know
Good.
what?
Yeah.
Screw her. She's got a spaceship. She's got a robot. If she can make it work, great. If she can't, she's earned this. And that's when the robot appears out of nowhere, trapping them. And then Dr. Smith steps out from behind the robot and is like, were you going to leave without me? And that's where we leave it.
Oh, man.
So the next episode...
Yeah. Yeah, the next episode is the end of the season. And yeah, I mean it's upon watching this stuff, I'm looking at this whole adventure, and like you, I was angry.
Yeah.
I'm just going, why are you stupid? Why do you keep doing these stupid things? Kill Dr. Smith. Tell the other colonists that you guys are title of the show, and split up into your own little tribes, go all over the flies, figure out a way to get out there, probably with poop or tar, and just leave the rest of the colonists because everyone in this show was an idiot. That's where I was. And then I realized that this entire show is suffering from a massive strain of prequelis, which is the medical condition that spends so much importance on showing how they get to the things that they love, that they ruin the things that they love. It's Patton Oswalt gave a great example of prequelis, where it's like, you like some ice cream? Well, yeah, that would be nice. I would kind of really like a bowl of ice cream. Well, here's a bag of rock salt. You know, and but I don't. Well, see, you take the rock salt, you put it in the ice, and then you add the cream and the flavorings and the custard, and you mix it up, and then you get ice cream. And when we saw Lost in Space is coming back, I didn't plan on any level of figuring out how they got lost in space. I didn't care.
Yeah, because I think in the original series they're just lost in space. I think that's just where it starts. I don't think there's like a episode where they like, it's like, like our intrepid adventurers are lost in space. Yeah. Let's catch up with them now. Oh, we've been lost in space so long, Dad.
Yeah, I mean that's exactly the thing. Yeah, so honestly, that's what I'm seeing, and the way that it comes down, the way that it comes down on that is really weird for me. Really weird, because I'm like, hurry up, hurry up and get to what I'm looking for. I don't care how they got lost in space. I want to know what they're doing while they're lost.
Well, we have only one more episode.
Yeah,
so.
And looking at how they got lost in space and how lost they end up being in space, I'm like, okay, I suppose, but just be honest and say, like, at this point, I'm thinking the show should have been called Getting Lost in Space.
Yeah.
You know, kind of like Fear the Walking Dead. You know, not I'm lost in space, but this is how we got lost.
Yeah, this
and
is
why.
Although now I'm thinking about it, I kind of like I kind of amused at the fact that they did by making their ship powered by poop. They've kind of resolved the fuel issue, as opposed to, I think, the original Lost in Space being in the 50s. The fuel issue was, oh well, it's atomic.
Yeah.
So you don't need it's magic. It just, we don't know whether that stuff works, but it works forever.
Well, as long as second season isn't filled with the Robinson family finding ingredients for curry so that they can get off of whichever planet they're on next, I'm cool. You know.
I'm laughing extra hard because that actually was not for the reasons you were stating, but that actually was an episode of Butler Black.
Okay.
Actually, I think it was a three-part episode.
I make a poop joke, and it turns out it's already been a syndicated television show.
Yep.
Isn't that fun?
Anime's weird, man.
Yeah, anime is weird. But we don't talk about that here. We don't talk about anime here. because there's always going to be somebody that knows better than I do, and it's like, yeah, you know what? Feel good about yourself. You're right. Whatever. But yeah. So what would you give this episode? What would you give? What rating would you give this episode?
Oh, I'm gonna give this one a royal flush.
What?
Yeah.
It was that good?
Well, it is the culmination of
Mhm.
everything they're leading up to, and there's a lot of action, and there's a lot of stuff like all the crap I was being angry at the characters about is starting to like be revealed. Like Will's like complete naivety. Suddenly he's like admitting he was naive and has actually done a lot of growing up. And then Dr. Smith coming clean, and you finally see what her entire plan is and why she's been this way from the beginning.
Okay.
And like all the weird things that it's like these plot holes that were driving me nuts. You find out they're not plot holes.
No.
They're plot.
Okay.
And we've been leading you up to this moment.
Okay.
So, and again, I got to give props to the actress who played Dr. Smith and to the writers for really like all the stuff, like all the weird crap building up that point, because the way her persona would change with different versions of Smith. So enough that on the second watching, I was able to realize that this was the real person. She even has like a 5-minute dialogue about who she wants to be and how she wants to be that person. The mom's like, you don't need the robot to be the person you want to be. Like, you just be the person you want to be. And she's like, are you kidding? If I try to be that person without the robot, they'll send me back to Earth.
It's almost like a person of color talking to someone with privilege. You can just be who you want to be. No, you can be who you want to be. If I'm myself, they're going to put me in prison. Thank you. Thank you, the management. So,
yeah, so like I said, it's a very apex moment for the series. And there's a lot of payoff. And I kind of feel like this last episode is a two-parter.
Okay.
Because we're like, and we're just waiting for the other half. So,
well, of course, Dad's alive.
Yeah, Dad's alive. Yeah, not if the planet has anything to say about it.
If the planet has anything to say about it, he'll be the only one that's alive. So,
at this point, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if someone said, "Hold on, what are you going to do?" Wow, the worst thing could happen is if that volcano was to erupt over there. That would really screw us over. Oh, look, the volcano erupted. Yeah, big surprise.
Yeah, it does seem, it really, like, when you're talking about the planet as a character, it does really come off. Like, every time they start saying, hey, shit's kind of terrible, stuff is kind of terrible. Like, how can things get any worse? And the planet just kind of looks at itself going, hold my beer.
Yeah, because the other moment was in the previous episode of, look, don't freak out. We have time. We'll take a 24-hour break. We'll rest. We'll regroup. We'll launch tomorrow. 30 seconds. As soon as he says that, oh, the Resolute is leaving. If we don't launch right now, we all die. Yeah. Really?
Yeah, and the planet is literally like going like, but I'm itchy now.
Yeah.
Get off me.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, I think I'm going to give this episode a full house.
Okay.
It's not the episode I want to watch over and over and over again. But you're right in a lot of the aspects of it's finally giving us the plot that we need, because it's like, oh, we only got one episode left, huh? Yeah, we better let the audience in on what we know. And they didn't do it in a rushed manner. It was very old Shyamalan type thing.
Yeah.
And when I say old, I mean like we're talking the first two, Unbreakable and The Sixth Sense.
Yeah.
In the sense of, oh no, we've been hinting at this the whole time.
Yeah.
It's just, you got to watch me. You can't just put me on in the background and clean your house.
Yeah.
And I do appreciate that. As someone who loves film and who likes to sit down and watch and engage something, so far this show is not for the casual viewer. It really isn't. It demands your attention.
Yeah. Because there is there is stuff that, like I said, on the second viewing, I caught a lot better than on the first.
Yeah. So I do give it a full house. Again, it's not the best I've seen. Not the best I've ever watched.
No.
But for what it's doing, I'm kind of digging it. I just wish, like, I would give it the royal flush if it weren't so good at emotionally engaging that the emotion that it elicits overshadows the stuff it's trying to say. Okay, if it made me less angry so that I could notice the other stuff,
Yeah.
I'd like it a lot more. But that being said, for what it's trying to do, it does a very good job of it. So
Yeah.
that's where I'm sitting. Yeah, so that's a big one. So yeah, so there are a few things about Luke Cage that I left out last week.
Oh yeah. Like where
Yeah,
did we leave him?
Well, we talked a lot about the hero for hire thing and him trying to protect Piranha, who hired him and ended up being all drunk, going, "Hey, who wants to shoot at Luke Cage? He's the bulletproof guy." And Luke Cage going, "Dude, bullets bounce off me," you know.
Yeah. Not a good idea.
You know, yeah.
Sign a waiver.
After they got Piranha done with that part of the story arc, watch the episode. You'll understand. There's another meeting with the Bushmaster.
Oh really?
Oh yeah, they have another fight. And here's
now does Bushmaster initiate it or does Luke initiate it?
In this one, Luke initiated it because anything Bushmaster has to say needs to be answered with a fist.
Okay.
Okay, so here's the big thing. Okay, one, I gotta put on my race hat here because there's so many things bothering me about what some people say about this, which is this: the assumption that there is a such thing as a fair fight gets under my skin. Okay, I talk to a lot of veterans, and you know I grew up in the hood, right? I mean that's where I grew up. So when you're fighting for your life, okay, when you're really fighting, not looking at your friend and doing a bad impression of Brad Pitt saying, "I want you to hit me as hard as you can." You know, in those moments where you don't ask for it, when you're fighting, you're fighting.
Yeah.
And there are no rules of engagement. There are no well, we're fighting on the street, but you can't do this. Like, no kicking in the nuts. No doing this. No doing that.
Marcus
no
of
doing
Queensberry
that.
rules.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, this is not this
Well,
is not dueling pistols at dawn.
I was taught that in martial arts class.
Yeah.
Like, the one thing they taught us was, like, if you're fighting, you fight to win.
Yeah.
Because this isn't, if you're following rules, that's a sparring match. That's an exposition. That's not a fight. They even told us what was the other thing is your enemy is your best teacher because they will not hold back.
Yeah.
And they will show you where your weakness is.
Uh-huh.
And the third one was the secret move of the Grand Master, which was he had an opponent who was known to charge, and he had an unbreakable charge. So what did he do? He stood with his back to a cliff. And when the guy charged, he pivoted out of the way, and the guy went off the cliff.
Yep.
Oh, that was this was the fight between two masters, and everyone's like, but that would be dishonorable, and that's cheating. No, he won.
Hey, you know what? Since I'm such a big fan of Game of Thrones, I love Bronn. You fight with no honor. Nope. He did. No, that dead guy down there, he was totally honorable. I'm down with him. And I say this because the fight between the Bushmaster and Luke Cage was really, really cool. They're fighting, and this fight's on a bridge.
Nice.
Okay, so they're having a bridge
now is Luke still doing the roundhouse thing, or is he actually like, shit, I need to up my game and actually fight as opposed to, boop.
He ups his game a little because he knows that Bushmaster can take the punch, which is pretty awesome. Okay, and again, this is wrap up from last week's. All right, and Bushmaster has technique. He knows what to look for and all that stuff. So it's all cool. It's doing a thing. And Luke Cage actually gets the upper hand.
Nice.
Yes, he gets the upper hand. And Bushmaster takes a handful of paralytic powder that you get from a voodoo priestess and right in Luke Cage's face.
He zombied him?
He zombied him. And when Luke Cage went paralyzed, Bushmaster kicked him in the face and into the water. And that's how the episode ends.
Wow, that is some serpent in the rainbow stuff right there.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
And so, wow, that completely overshadowed my smart ass comment I was going to make, which was, so when they fought, did Luke Cage rip off a girder of the bridge and try to beat Bushmaster with it, or did they do massive collateral damage the way other superheroes fight?
Nope. They kept it street level, and Bushmaster used what's called militia.
Yeah.
Street smarts. In other words, dude cheated.
Yep.
He cheated. And he won.
He won. Yeah. You say he cheated. I say he won. Which the best part is, though, that means Luke Cage has been dosed with fugu and thrown in cold water.
Yeah.
Which means he dead, but he not dead.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And that's where the episode opens.
Yeah.
So Luke Cage has to shake that off with the oh man, I just got beat up again type thing. But this is an important episode.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is not important like The Butler or 12 Years a Slave or Mudbound, but an important episode. It's an important episode because we get a lot of backstory in this one too. Whole lot of backstory in this one. Luke Cage has to shake it off and plan his next move, but forget Luke for just a minute. This is the episode where Bushmaster goes to work. Okay,
he has been a busy guy.
Yeah,
with the heads on sticks and all that other stuff. So when you say he goes to work, I get a little apprehensive because it's like I was just ramping up before. Those are some stretches. Now it's time to do some heavy lifting.
Oh yeah. Oh, make no mistake. That's exactly what it's been. Because a few things happen. Okay. Outside of Bushmaster going to work, we check in on Black Mariah.
Okay.
Right? Yeah, Black Lightning, Black Cage, Black Mariah, whatever. Actually, Black Mariah is a cool thing, and that's what a casket used to be called, or a hearse.
Really?
Yes. Black
I didn't know
Mariah
that.
was the name of the horse-drawn carriage that carried the casket.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Because those were Mariahs, and the black one was for funerals. So okay, Black Mariah. All right, I'll deal with that. But Shades is doing some weird investigation, and we come to find out a few episodes ago that Comanche, his boy, the back-to-back conversation from the last episode, has been a police informant this whole time. And Shades finds Comanche, and Comanche is pretty much meeting with the police captain that has a history with Mariah.
Oh wow, this is getting convoluted.
Huh? Not really. There's only 4 cops. I mean that's
so the four cops in the entire police force.
Practically, I mean
those are the ones we see.
Yeah, I mean we see a few, but I've been kind of glancing over their stuff. But yeah, so Comanche has been informing, on Mariah and Shades. The thing is, Mariah don't let Comanche in. Matter of fact, she don't even like him. She's just like, every time he says anything, she's like, and you are talking, and you shouldn't be talking, and you can leave, and he's like, man, you better watch your woman. Your girlfriend can't do that in her old ass anyway. So, and then you have, after the, they wanted it, I wanted it, I'm in love with you, have been since we were kids conversation from the last episode. And Shades has to kill Comanche.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
He sees Comanche snitching with his own eyes. So he kills the cop. And he kills...
No, this is the chief of police, right?
This is Misty Knight's boss.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so might not be the chief, definitely not the commissioner, but he's up there.
But he was the one that Mariah was using.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah.
So
that's gonna. Oh wow, that's a whole big bag.
That is a big bag of stuff. So, but Shades is smart enough to pin it on Comanche. So he pretty much says they killed each other, that kind of thing. Shades uses the cop's gun to kill Comanche. Comanche, shot the cop because when Shades walks up, Comanche was like, oh no, I was not snitching, he was just trying to set me up. And Shades is like, I don't even want to hear that, man. You don't know how long I've been sitting there, you don't know how much I heard, and now you're trying to no, just back up, bro, back up. And he's heartbroken. He is seriously heartbroken, because even if it wasn't a me and Mrs. Jones situation, if they ain't got a thing going on, it's still killing his best friend.
Yeah.
And I don't care.
Killing his best friend, who he found out has been a traitor the entire time.
You know, because a lot of people say snitches get stitches. No, snitches get dead. When you're dealing with people who are beheading people and stuff like that, there ain't no stitches. You know, they're bullet holes. That's what there are. So that happens. Meanwhile, Mariah and her daughter have another falling out, because the more her daughter finds out about her, it's like, well, you made some crappy decisions, but you're also a crappy person, but I'm willing to get past your crappiness so that we can have a mother-daughter relationship type thing. And then you screw that mother-daughter relation type thing up. So it's always another thing, you know. And then since Bushmaster and Piranha had done all the stuff that they did, Mariah's broke. She lost everything. Okay, she lost all, like, her assets were frozen. She had no money except for the cash that was stashed at a hiding spot.
Got it. So that's part of, so Bushmaster gave her everything and then took it all away.
Well, he wanted to make sure she was fat when he slayed her.
Yeah.
Lord have mercy. Anyway, so she goes to the safe house where her stuff is buried, the family gun and some cash and all that stuff. And Bushmaster is essentially waiting there, and we find out a hostage situation. So Bushmaster ties her and her daughter to a chair and starts gasoline in the house. Just, nope, we are going to do this. This is what has happened. Splish splash, splish splash.
Feel free to talk among yourselves and maybe work out your personal issues, since you are now forced to confront them because you're immobilized.
Yes.
Which happened not once but twice in Battleless in Space.
Absolutely. And don't get me wrong, I am all about family therapy like that.
I was going to say, because of TV shows like this, I have a very strange idea of what family therapy is like. You might want to check your thing. You got something going on over there.
Yeah, I'm checking it over here too. But yeah, so I mean, this isn't one of those things where she could turn herself into a pickle to avoid. It literally was. You know, it literally.
I'm Pickle Rick.
You know. So while they're tied up to the chair and we're splish splashing all over the house, Mr. Loverman gives his backstory.
Oh, so we had a little exposition from. So you may be wondering why I'm doing this.
Exactly, and it comes down to, I'm going to tell you where I didn't come from. After your mother left the Caribbean or the Virgin Islands, we had a deal between Mama Mabel and Bushmaster's mom about how they were going to split up Harlem, the Bushmaster thing, like everything that was happening, right? And Mama Meg, or the woman who raised Mariah, totally goat fucked Bushmaster and his entire friend, or just totally screwed them over. Totally screwed them. And not only did they screw them over, but then she set Bushmaster's house on fire. Okay? It was Bushmaster and his mom, after negotiating the deal, and this was when Mariah was like 16. And essentially, she took everything, pushed him out of court, and just to make sure that her message was pushed down. Oh no, he was 11. This is important. He was 11, and then her and her goons set the house on fire. And used a bottle of Bushmaster rum as a Molotov cocktail to light the fuse.
Hence the name.
Yes. And now, here's the second thing. Here's the second thing. Because there's more.
There's more.
No, but wait, we're not through yet. In opposed to just letting it go, okay, because he couldn't, okay, set the house on fire, and the only way out of the house was a hole big enough for Bushmaster, but not big enough for his mom. So his mom said, get out, save yourself, and he did. And it turns out he's been holding himself responsible because he couldn't do more to save his mom. He was too small.
Yeah. So there's the whole survival guilt. There's a lot of hate. There's a lot of rage. He
Gets better.
He takes the name of the thing that was used to murder his mother and destroy his dynasty.
Oh, it gets better.
It gets better. There's more?
Oh, yeah, there's more.
If I act now, do I get more?
Oh, yeah, if you act now, you get more sympathetic exposition. Am I right, Ruthless? You know where I'm going with this. Seriously, I know you're there. What's going on? Help me out with this one. So, Bushmaster ages another 3 years. And you know what? He starts adjusting. He gets through that stuff in his heart, and and this is where we get the background for the Nightshade, okay? Because he gets himself a little cart, okay? He learns how to negotiate deals with the customers walking by, starts actually trying to build a life for himself through the tourist economy and just live.
All right, so he's put his past behind him. He's reinventing himself as a productive member of his community.
Yep.
You know, just another guy servicing the tourist trade, but it's honest work.
And Mariah's uncle,
What?
the one who raised her and Cottonmouth, walks up to 14-year-old Bushmaster.
What?
And shoots him in the gut on the street. Just shoots him in the gut. Like, I know who you are, and I'm no hard feelings, but I gotta make sure that vengeance ain't gonna be on your menu when you become a man. Bam. Very Machiavellian.
But that guarantees vengeance is on the menu.
Only if he lives. Okay, only if he lives.
But he shot him in the gut, which pretty much guarantees it's like, no.
Well, again, he's barely a teenager. I mean, he's barely a teenager, and most kids in third world countries like the West Indies don't have access to medical care that will let you recover from a gut wound. Yeah,
but if it's not personal and it's just to tie up a loose end, why do you condemn him to a horrible, painful, lingering death?
Let's just say it's a lot easier to pretend like you didn't shoot someone if you don't raise the gun to that level.
Got it. So it was kind of under the...
Yeah, it was kind of one of those. Boom. Oh, let me see that thing. Yeah, blam. Oh, well, hey, sorry, kid. Nothing personal. La, 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 la. Yeah. You know? Yeah, so...
I don't know.
His family members pick him up and take him to the local healing lady, who then uses the Nightshade on him as a kid, saying if he's strong inside, he'll heal from this. Okay, so we get why Bushmaster is dedicated to ending that bloodline.
Yeah, because
and how it works.
Because you destroyed my life not once, but twice.
Yeah.
The first time I forgave. The second time, no.
It really is. You know, you could have left me alone, and I would not have come for vengeance.
Yeah.
But then you shot me in the gut as I was children. Mr. Laba Laba. And
that's pretty messed up, dude.
Yeah, that is. And by this point, we're cutting back to Mariah and her daughter tied to a chair while the goons are going gaff, 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 gaff. And you know what? You're going, yeah, you know what?
Because I'm
like that.
Yeah, because I'm kind of sitting there. I'm sitting there going like, is Mariah's daughter looking at her and going, what the hell is wrong with you, Grandma?
Actually,
you know, like look over Bushmaster. You know what? I know you're killing me and all, but I ain't even mad.
Actually, yes, that is exactly what is happening. And Bushmaster is like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna give you the choice. You can be a good daughter, or you could do the same thing as I did. And he unties her. Sets the house on fire, and says, you're now going to have to live with the kind of person you are, and walks away. Shut up! And, Yeah.
Oh, that hurts. That is both very poetic and vicious.
I couldn't give a slow enough clap.
Yeah.
I really could.
I'm like,
scene,
it is the most. I tried to figure out the most horrible way to be merciful, and this is what I came up with.
Right?
Because it's too poetic. And you know what? You may choose to hunt down, and you might even kill me, but I don't care because I've accomplished what I set out to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, that is. Oh, wow, that is rough.
Yeah, that really
And
is.
again, watching it, I'm going, that is horrible. And I'm like with you, I'm like, yeah.
Because again, it's not that I condone what Bushmaster's doing, but I understand. I completely understand.
Well, because they've gone out of their way to show that Mariah and her family are
evil,
horrible. Which means if they did it to this kid, how many other people have they do that? It's like, oh, I just go gut shot a 14-year-old as normal course of business because I got 7 more today.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, this has been a long time coming.
Oh yeah, yeah. But we finally see the birthright that he's talking about.
Yeah.
And I'm just kind of going, I'm mad.
Yeah.
I'm a lot of people would say get therapy. In the previous episode, even his uncle was saying, you need to let this go. Just start over, do this whole thing. And he's like, nah, bruh. Nah.
I did that. It didn't take.
And I cannot say I don't understand.
Yeah.
I mean, this one hit me square in the feels because, the whole, up to this point in the show, everything about Bushmaster has been, nope, I gotta do this, and you know why. And I'm sitting up going, I want to know. Let me know. Seriously, cutting off their heads, is that just a Jamaican thing, or is that you?
Yeah.
Is that, I'm like, there's a lot of cultural differences between the West Indian people of color and the continental people of color. I've never been to the Caribbean. I've never been to the Virgin Islands. Been a lot of other places, but I've never been to the place where reggae is born. And I don't get the cultural differences.
Yeah.
So yeah, when I see things like, he's cutting off people's heads, he's doing a whole lot. Is this just the way that culture thinks, or is this just that character? And by this point in the episode, I'm going, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's cultural or if it's individual, because this woman has it coming. You know what? Cool. You know what? And especially since the writers were wise enough not to push the sexual assault angle, especially with the daughter, because the actress is beautiful and they're, it could have been really easy to go there.
Yeah.
But they didn't push that. It was, the daughter is like, I didn't know my mom did this to you, and I don't exactly condone you setting her on fire, but I understand.
Yeah.
And Bushmaster's like, I knew you would understand because you are a reasonable person. You've got brain in your head.
Yeah.
So, yeah, sure enough, she stays to try and help her mom, and Luke Cage comes to save the day. And that's where Mariah and Nightshade and Luke Cage start going on the run from Bushmaster's people. Because now we're in what I like to call a Halloween situation.
Halloween situation?
Yes.
Okay.
Here's the thing. In the movie franchise Halloween, Michael Myers wanted one thing.
Yeah.
One thing. He kills Jamie Lee Curtis. He goes to bed. And everybody else in that movie got in the way of him killing Jamie Lee Curtis. Okay? And in this one, Bushmaster wants one thing. He wants Mariah broken, then he wants to set her on fire and for her to die. That's all he wants.
Yeah.
But people
Clear
keep
goals.
saving her.
Clear goals.
Luke Cage keeps saving her. But, honestly, I understand Luke Cage because a hero, like a real hero, a good guy, does not differentiate who he saves. the good guy has to save everybody.
Yeah.
That's what the good guy's got to do. And if Luke Cage ended up going, wait, that's why you want to set her on fire? I'll hold the door closed, then he wouldn't be a hero.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have been that, But don't get me wrong. Luke Cage busted into there, and all I was thinking was, Hodor, hold the door, hold the door. Because I was about done with her.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's what happened. That's what Mama Mabel did. And that's what Mama Mabel did. And you are having all these arguments in bad faith. You're not being honest about what the whole situation is.
Mm-hmm.
And you're trying to paint him as just the bad guy and you the victim, Mariah. Come on now.
Yeah.
Come on. It's one thing if it had just been, we screwed you out of your money. It'd be another thing if it was, we screwed you out of your money and we did some white people paperwork stuff to keep you banned from this country, But it was, we screwed you out of paperwork, we left you in abject poverty, we flaunted our wealth in front of you, and we set your mom on fire. And then
when you
shot you.
Well, and then when you had the temerity to not lay down and die, we stepped on your face and shot you in the gut.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So, so a lot more to every story. It's definitely a thing. It is most definitely.
So I begin to understand. Yeah, and I'm glad they did that with him alluding to there being a good reason for why he was doing everything, because you always got the impression that he was driven, he was focused, but he had a purpose, and it wasn't just to be evil.
Oh no.
He it was like, no, that person over there, no, it's all about me and her. Stay out of my way, we're fine.
Yeah. And he said as much.
Yes, multiple times.
After time.
Multiple times. And everyone's like, no, I'm going to stand in your way. I asked you to do one thing. Just don't stand in my way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Boot to the head.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, seriously. And that's exactly what it came down to in that whole episode. And, of course, Luke Cage saves the day. And they go into hiding at, I'm pretty sure they went to hiding at a Danny Rand building.
Danny, which one? No, which one was Danny Rand?
Fist. Yeah.
Oh, so it was like a vintage building that we probably have never heard of before.
I might be getting ahead of myself on this one, but they didn't go into the building yet. That's a different episode. But Luke Cage saves her. Yeah, Luke Cage saves her. I think he takes her to the police, and but at the end of the day, he saved her, and Bushmaster took the nightclub too. So, did all that stuff, set her on fire, went to her club, and said, "This is mine."
There's one there's one bit of information I don't know. What happened to the painting?
Huh?
What happened to the painting?
Oh, the Basquiat?
Yeah,
still there.
Is it in the club?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he has the club, but more importantly, he has the painting.
Okay.
Because the painting is kind of her birthright. Because you refused to sell it to go legit. Because of that whole thing, weirdness with the painting. I know the painting is a symbol. And so that's important, that he's like going to be sitting there in front of the painting like.
See, that part didn't happen, but I never looked at it that way.
Yeah.
Because don't get me wrong, when all of her assets were seized and her and Shades got into that argument, I was right there with Shades, because he was like, dude, all you had to do was sell that painting and we wouldn't be in this mess right now.
Yeah.
That's all you had to do. Sell the painting, leave the criminal empire to me. You could be legitimate and everything would be cool, but no, you had to stick on to the painting.
Because, by selling the painting, she is, in a way, renouncing her family. That's because that's something that comes from the family. It was something passed down from her mom. So by selling it, she's letting that all go and becoming a new person.
Exactly. And now it's kind of funny that this is brought up, because we got Ruthless Wonder in the chat right now going, yeah, the only time I didn't want Luke Cage showing up. I mean, seriously speaking, man, nobody, like not a single person wanted 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 Mariah gone. Wanted Mariah gone. That's a real thing. It was like, dude, after she did all that, no, you know what, Bushmaster, take her out, let her daughter step up, and let her daughter be the one to squash this, please.
Especially when Bushmaster gets annoyed, and the bodies start to really pile up, and the whole Bushmaster's going like, "This is on you."
Exactly. And
we've had this conversation multiple times.
Oh, yeah.
I thought when I left a head on a stick, I kind of made my point, but apparently you didn't get the memo.
Yeah. I got to address somebody in the chat right now. Sorry, Ruthless. We talked about that last week. That was the last episode of Buster Recap, because we go episode by episode. So yeah, we talked about that at great length, because that was a back-to-back thing, and it was symbolic that it happened at Pops's. So but yeah, so all in all, because man, yeah, again, that was I'm looking at all this in the episode, right? And I'm going, you know what? I got nothing but sympathy for Bushmaster at this point. Like, I almost can't even fault his methodology, given that he's from the criminal underworld, she's from the criminal underworld, and he technically didn't break any rules of the street to deal with her.
Yeah.
Not one. And he left so many open doors for her to bow out gracefully. You know, he even paid for her to go legit. And she didn't get it.
Yep.
You know, she was so busy being full of herself, saying, no, he can't touch me, he's not this, he's not that, and Shades was like, no, we need to pay attention to this guy. We don't need to be taking his money. We don't need to be doing this. We don't need to be doing this. You know? And so yeah. Man, I'm just killing. I'm just dying over this whole episode. So this was the episode that I had to give the royal flush to.
And this sounds
really
like
did.
This actually sounds like a reflection of the Lost in Space, in that this episode is the culmination of all this backstory, all this hinting. We finally find out the character's motivation. So yeah, that's actually a really good synergy going on there.
Yeah. Interesting though, it happened at the midpoint of the season. Because yours, you know,
yeah, mine's like this is part of the
9.
season finale.
Yeah. And this one is like literally in the middle. This is episode 6.
So this is the mid-season climax. So it's like
sorta, yeah.
So where are they going to go from here? He laughs wickedly. Oh, he goes. Oh, it gets good. Hey, trust me, it keeps on going.
Yeah, where it goes from here, we're gonna have to make sure that people turn in on the next bit.
Yeah.
But yeah,
where do we go from here?
But yeah, so I mean, seriously speaking, you know, this episode, I seriously and truly and in all honesty, on every level, had to give this episode the royal flush.
Yeah.
Because as soon as it showed what Mariah does, how the consequences affect people, watching Shades kill his best friend, and finding out about Bushmaster in the entire in one episode.
Yeah.
I'm just like, my nose is bleeding. You know, my nose is bleeding. I now understand every single character, including Luke. And they haven't actually done anything to get Claire back into the show. That's a good thing for me, because she's still going. She's still going. Is she coming back? I don't know. I'm watching this one at a time. Is she gone? We don't know if she's going, but yeah. So anyway, so yeah, honestly, the writing and the performances in all of this, with the cast from 2 different timelines, was really good. Essentially watching Mariah fail at being a better person is awesome. And really understanding that Bushmaster has more than a legitimate gripe.
Yeah.
More than a legitimate gripe against Mariah. I'm like, dude, I don't need Luke Cage in this episode.
Yeah. You
know, this one was so good. Notice I barely talked about Luke.
Yeah.
You know.
Except when he Kool-Aided in.
Yeah.
Kool-Aid!
So, where are we going to go from this one? I don't know. They're going to have to tune in next week.
Oh.
Okay. But I do actually want to thank you. I want to thank you for showing up today, man.
Thank you for having me.
You know, you act like it's a chore. This is our schedule. And I also want to thank you guys out there in the chat. Thank you guys for showing up. I haven't earned a hashtag, thank God. But with that, I gotta say, if you guys like what you see, you know, or if you guys have any other ways that you want to hit up with us, then feel free to contact us at backinthedeck@gmail.com. Thank you for looking us up on YouTube at YouTube/BidP. Now let us know at backinthedeck@gmail.com or on Twitter if you guys think that we should transfer everything to Twitch. I'm really thinking about that, and I've already got the channel, which is twitch.tv/BidP. That's BID_P, just like our SoundCloud, which is BidP, SoundCloud/BidP, which is BID_P. And feel free to look us up on www.backinthedeck.com, and you have access to audio versions of our entire archives from the past 5 years. Check out the stuff that we've been talking about. Check out that other stuff. And with that, how can they get a hold of you, my good henchman?
Henchman dot bidp
That's henchman1.
Oh, sorry, henchman1.bidp@gmail.com. That's henchman1
The number.
dot bidp@gmail.com. Of course, henchman1 implies that there's a henchman2.
How do you know there isn't?
3.
Well, I can't call them things. But yeah, so get a hold of Henchman and join us on Deckers on the Book on Facebook. That's where you can have our real conversations and talk with us in real time. But with that, I'm going to say thank you guys for showing up. And if anybody tells you guys that you cannot have the hobbies you like because of your circumstances of birth, be it race, religion, creed, sexual orientation, gender identity, disability, or your budget, you just tell them to take all those cards and put them back in the deck. I am Solar Gray, the Cinematic Sorcerer, saying thank you guys for showing up, and we will see, well, you'll see the Henchman next week on Buster Recap, and you will see me tomorrow, possibly on Coffee and Conversation.
Night, everybody.